All right, guys, welcome to the stream. We're now about to officially see what CrowdStrike and ChargePoint, how their earnings go. I would love to know in the chats if you guys think ChargePoint is going to go up or down. Just put the ticker in the up or down. And then also we got CrowdStrike as well. We're going to see that go up. We're going to see that go down. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, in the Discord, or the chat on X or on YouTube. Let me know, guys. Nice big push kind of towards the end of the day here. We kind of saw the market just fall off today, right? So we're kind of pushing up towards the end of the day here, kind of retracing a little bit and getting some of those losses back, at least some of them, right? So I'm quite excited to see what this earnings brings to us. I think ChargePoint could be a dark horse, but I ultimately think it's going down. And then, CrowdStrike is a huge cyber security company that's, may get some volatility there. We shall see in a little bit here. I wanted to go over, at least while we're kind of ending the day, we can go over the last earnings on each of them. We can go on the daily and see kind of what happened in the last few earnings. So let me just get rid of some of these lines. And here, welcome to the stream, guys. Pretty excited for this earnings. So let's kind of see what happened to ChargePoint the last few times. If we go back here, back to the most recent earnings back in December, you can see it's kind of right here, lands on this kind of green doji candle. And then we kind of get a good reaction after the earnings were released, right? So we got a nice push up from here in December, the last earnings, all the way up to around like $3, it seems like. Let's see where it went to. $3.13 was the move after earnings from around $2. So that was a nice 50% move up after the last earnings on ChargePoint. One before that, gap down, nasty gap down here. Tried to retrace, but got smacked down over the next couple of days. So you can see this big downtrend from the one before that in September. Probably lack of revenue and some instability in that company with growth concerns maybe. And then the last one before that, we kind of went flat, right? It wasn't really a big move either direction, but maybe after a couple of weeks, we kind of saw it come down a little bit, then move up, and then we saw the big move down. So overall, I think for the year of 2023, ChargePoint pretty much sucked. I mean, the growth sucked. They burnt enough cash. They just weren't doing things right. And I believe they're trying to shake up management now. So let's kind of see what the new CEO and see what plans they have in store for the guidance, at least for the next couple of quarters. We shall see there. Then we have CrowdStrike. What's up? What's up, all the house? What's up? The last time we saw CrowdStrike report earnings were 11:28, huge gap to the upside. It opened up the next day, and then we've just been on this big run since the last earnings. We pretty much went from $220 all the way up to the 300s. Huge move, probably significant growth on their earnings and probably good guidance. That's probably why we got this big move up on the last earnings. One before that, same thing, opened up next day, gapped up as well, and then we just kind of been moving up since then, right? So we've been moving quarter to quarter on earnings, just up with CrowdStrike. It's been pretty much up for the whole year of 2023. So CrowdStrike looks more promising going into this, but we'll see. Some of the companies in the cyber security sector got kind of smashed recently with earnings. So another one that's going to be interesting to see. Let me go to the smaller time frame, see what kind of movement we have. So what are you guys thinking? Up or down for CrowdStrike? Let me know, guys. Don't be quiet. Share your thoughts. I'll go ahead, Charlotte, bro. You have 2 seconds to Charlotte because we're going to see a big move, I think, in a few minutes. Oh, let me see here. My camera got a bit fuzzy. Let me fix this camera. There we go. It's better. And we can go back to CrowdStrike. Getting a little bit of movement here. It's down about 1%, nearly 1%. Oh, there we go. Oh, big move to the upside on CrowdStrike. Whew! What a candle. What a monster candle. 9% candle right there. Boom. What a move by CrowdStrike. We're up 10% on that candle, guys. That's a monster candle. Up 12%, 13%. CrowdStrike is blowing up at this time. I was going to go back to the finances and kind of see what kind of growth they're showing, and I'm sure it's pretty consistent growth. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is a monster stock. I mean, if we go back to 2020, the full year 2020, we're at about 400 million on the revenue. The year after, we doubled that pretty much to 800 and some change. Then we pretty much doubled that again to 1.45 billion, then 2 billion plus. You can see the super strong growth in the revenue for CrowdStrike quarter after quarter, year after year for the past 4 years. And then their net income has been still negative. So they got some improvement to do there, because it's still negative on the net income side. So the expenses, they need to kind of get that under control. Hopefully we hear a bit more about that in the guidance. But yeah, big move up, 13%. We just went from 290 low all the way up to 342. That was huge move. We can go to, that's pretty much going to take out, right? That's another all-time high right there, guys. All-time highs. This sticks. Tomorrow we're going to open up at all-time highs for CrowdStrike. I'm impressed. It's impressive right there. Yeah, ChargePoint has just been on a Debbie Downer kind of move, right? I mean, this could be the start of maybe something different with ChargePoint, just because they were shaking up the management. Maybe they're doing something better. Maybe they're controlling expenses and maybe bringing in more income, and that will look better on the bottom line. So let's see what CrowdStrike does. But overall, it's ugly. Look at this. It's just downtrending since 2000. Pretty much the peak, right? I can't believe this stock was at $49 just after COVID. That's insane. But it's been downtrending ever since, and they haven't had no love since then. So maybe this could be a start of a reversal. We could hope, right? We could hope. As for CrowdStrike, guys, I normally put out a play with earnings. It's tough to put out a play with CrowdStrike. That candle was a monster, and it was too tough to try to get in and chase that. So no play for CrowdStrike at the moment with earnings. Maybe we get a pullback. All right, let's see. Douglas, big move. Yeah, I can go to... let me see something real quick. See if any of the earnings came out. Okay, so CrowdStrike. I'm going to share it with you guys. CrowdStrike was actually a beat, I see here. Reported EPS was 95 cents. Consensus was 82 cents. The surprise was 15.9%. Guidance seems to be better than expected as well, and that's probably why we got the big move with CrowdStrike. Let's share that info with you guys. Out. There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna put this on the screen for you guys. Okay, so the out sales is 845 million estimated. What they were believing they would see was 839 million. So they beat sales by 6 million there. EPS came in better than expected as well by 15%. And guidance, I believe guidance came in stronger than expected too. So everything is lining up for maybe a continuation for CrowdStrike in the next couple of days. That's quite impressive. And we await ChargePoint. Let's see what's going on with ChargePoint. ChargePoint's at 410. So in any second now, guys, we're going to get some some ChargePoint action. Hopefully it's some kind of action like CrowdStrike, right? Come on, give us some of that action. Oh, we're getting some movement here. It's not looking good. It's already down 2%. Ooh, 3.5% down. ChargePoint. At this point, it doesn't look like it's going to charge much more. And their stock price hopefully doesn't drop any more than it already has. Let's see. So we go back on ChargePoint, and the low is 156 that we saw in January 2024. So that's the low. And if we really sell off, and if it's real bad earnings, I think we'll pretty much test that low that we saw at 156 in January. I think that'd be a target if we're going short on this and it's bad earnings. That's the target I believe we get to is 156. There is a few areas that we can look for support. One being there, but it looks like it's going to take that out right now. It's already down 9% ChargePoint. So this was a support, maybe to go short. If you're looking to short this, maybe that 186 was a good short entry. Once we close like a 2-3 minute candle down there, that would be a good potential short play. And the target will be pretty much take out that low of the 150s, right? Which we've seen it drop 20-30%. So it can easily drop down to that 156 and test that area again. So yeah, we're down on ChargePoint. It doesn't look too good right now. They're down 13%. Someone give them a lifeline. God, ChargePoint. Come on. Do something. What can I read about advanced trading and the wheel strategy? Well, you can get that. We have like a section for the wheel strategy. I'm not sure if it's you have to like opt into that because it's advanced, but we will have that coaching stuff going next week, and the swing and ball, I believe, will be doing more of the wheel strategy with his people. So maybe look out for that and get in and opt in with that coaching stuff that we have coming out. Okay, so back to the charts here. CrowdStrike is obviously the favorite. It's up 17%. 17% on a $300 stock. That's impressive. $51 up. Let's see what happens to ChargePoint here. What do you guys think on YouTube? Let's see. Any of you guys saying anything about CrowdStrike and ChargePoint? Oh, okay, thank you, PK. Thank you for that revenue guidance for CrowdStrike. So their revenue guidance, they come in at 3.92 billion to 3.99 billion, Wall Street estimated around 3.94. So they're in that good ballpark, and obviously the investors liked what they were hearing there. So good stuff. Again, more positive for CrowdStrike than ChargePoint. So thank you for that, PK. What else we got? Schultz getting clobbered. Yeah, Schultz are getting clobbered with CrowdStrike. Don't mess with them. And then I'm going to look for, let's have a look for ChargePoint. Let's see if the earnings are out. Yes, the earnings are out, and it doesn't look good. Let's verify this info. Before I put it out there. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so man, no one even wants to report their earnings on socials. That's how bad they are. People don't like ChargePoint anymore. Okay, so fourth quarter revenue was 100. I believe it's 115 million. The estimate came in at 117, so they did miss on the revenue front. And then what else we got here? EPS was negative 23 cents, but that was in line with what they expected. Let's see, earnings. Okay, I got a better one here. Fourth quarter revenue came in at 115 million, guys, down 24% from the 152 in the prior quarter in the prior year. Let's see what else. Revenue for fourth quarter was down 39% for charging systems. Subscription revenue was up from 25 million in the prior year's same quarter to this current quarter of this year. Subscription was up 30%. So from 25 million to 33 million subscriptions. Don't really know about that so much, about subscriptions to get your card charged. That's interesting. I don't know about that so much, but their net loss was 94 million was their net loss for the fourth quarter, compared with 78 million in the prior year's same quarter. So you can see they're still burning cash, and they're still taking a big loss, bigger than last year in the same quarter. What's that? Around 16 million extra this year than last year. So that's not so good there. Gross margin is also 19% compared with 22%. So that's also negative. What good things could they say? I mean, there's nothing really good coming out of that earnings report there. So we're getting a little action though. A little action here. What we can do, put a little fib retracement on this, right? Stick it from the high all the way down here. Kind of get some levels. So we got a little movement there. I mean, if you grabbed it at the bottom here on the reversal, that's a nice little move up. What's that? A good like 15-cent move up, 8%, 9%. Not bad. But I think if we lose VWAP here, which is around 185, I think that this comes all the way back down. Probably does this good old famous H-shape move, right? A pattern, H-shape pattern, and just falls down if we can't continue to push from here. That's what we're probably likely to see. And that one, I'm going to draw on there because I'm a great artist. Something like this. These people over here are going to get all excited. So let me try to jump in now. And then they're automatically in a loss because they're going to lose this. And it's going to come on all the way down to a new low. If this doesn't start pushing from this area now, it's probably what we're going to get from ChargePoint. Good old-fashioned heat shape pattern. No, we're not joining the worm porterhouse. That's for the premium subscribers only in the Discord. They only know about the worm formation. It worked out great a couple weeks ago. So if you want to know about that, guys, you hop in that Discord and you learn all about the worm formation. It's a real thing. All right. Let's see. So we got those two out. Also, there's one that I wanted to look at. I'm going to go off task right now and take a peek. Was Ross Stores, because everyone loves to shop at Ross, right? I mean, who doesn't know someone that doesn't shop at Ross? Pookie loves shopping at Ross. If he's here, oh, he's not here, so we can keep on saying it. Pookie loves shopping at Ross. He buys everything there: socks, underwear, you name it. Okay, Ross Stores down, but it had a nice pump here at the beginning and after hours up to 157, but now it's pretty much flat. This is Ross Stores, and they also had good earnings. I'm reading the earnings right now, and they came in. Reported EPS came in 11% higher than their estimates, and then the revenue came in 15% higher. Guidance looked like it was pretty in line. It wasn't up or down, so it looks like guidance was in line is what was expected of them. So yeah, Amy, yeah, ChargePoint is a dog, dirty dog. So yeah, Ross just kind of flat. Initial big move up, but then we kind of went flat again. I would like to probably keep this on my watch list for tomorrow because there's pretty good earnings that I'm reading, and maybe we get like a kind of a slingshot out of the gates tomorrow with Ross, and maybe we get a nice $5-6 move up. And definitely going to go on my watch list, that's for sure. And this one also has been running up. Like, look at this. This is impressive. Impressive move. I remember trading this in the 70s in the Discord on this reversal right here. Right on this double bottom, because we love double bottom setups, right? So this was a nice double bottom setup. Oh, stock savvy's here. Hey, buddy. I don't even hear you though. Let me see if I have to fix something. Hold on. Maybe my sound isn't working in there. Now my sound's working. What's up, dude? Shay's in the house. What's going on, Shay? He's quiet. Don't want to speak to me anymore. Anyways, so CrowdStrike, we're finding a new high there, right? We just got a nice big blast up here with this candle. Nice candle right here, making that new high after hours, 354, 18% up. This thing's going to keep on going. That's impressive. Doesn't look like you have an option to speak. Oh, you don't have an option? Damn, bro. Just talk. Just talk, man. That's so weird. Yeah, you aren't muted. Sorry, dude. What's up? There you go. Yeah, what's going on? Yes, we are. I got a StreamYard. Join the StreamYard, bro. Let me give you the link. Let me just send it in your DM real quick. There you go. Yeah, because people online are probably just going to hear nobody, and we want to hear from the man himself, the CrowdStrike guy. Any hope on EVGO after charging stories? Let's have a look at that one. I take a look at that soon. The EVGO. I think a lot of those small cap like charging companies are just kind of getting beaten to death, especially when Tesla just kind of taken over that sector and people are just using their network now. So it's not connected. I think that these small like charging companies are gonna just keep getting hit hard, and it sucks, right? But that's the story. They're all kind of like all the companies that taking on that Tesla charging. So we shall see what happens to ChargePoint. I think he left. You around, dude? Are you around? Hello, hello. Shay's got some technical difficulties. I see him down there in StreamYard, but it's blank, so I don't see his face at all. And he came off the Discord, right? So he's got to be in both. He's got to be on both, man. Come on. This ain't your first rodeo. Come on, Shay. Anyways, yeah, so that's just that's it. He's back. Yeah, but get on the StreamYard, man. I see you I see you there, but are you like in there? Are you in there?
I think so. I mean, oh, my freaking, I'm gonna call my phone. This is way easier. I'm gonna do a little FaceTime.
Have you ever price target for ChargePoint, up or down, Jonathan? Are you looking to play it down, or are you looking to get a move to the upside? Because the earnings weren't so good, Jonathan. So I'm thinking, but we've seen wilder things, right? We've seen like total misses on earnings, and then the next trading day we just see it rip, and that could be the case with ChargePoint. So I'm not going to knock them yet. I think tomorrow they could ultimately just rip out the gates and give a big middle finger to everyone and just say, you know what, we're going to move this higher. So yeah, let me see. So yeah, I mean, for me, for ChargePoint, like if you're trying to play it after hours, maybe we can get above this VWAP and we get a pop after that. But it's going to be super risky down here. But if you're looking to trade this after hours, I would just put this fib retracement on from that top of after hours to the low. Pretty much, if we can clear maybe 187-ish, then we may get moved back to the 190s, maybe 195. You get little scalp there. But for tomorrow's trading action, it can all change. But as long as this, like, long as say we push above 187 to hold, we may get a pop back to the twos tomorrow for ChargePoint. But the downside, I think, if it gets real rough tomorrow, then I think we see the lows of the 150s that we saw back here in January this year. That could be how nasty it could get for ChargePoint. We could kind of take that out. Oh, bro, let me put you in. There you go.
Yeah, it worked. All right, it has to be on the phone.
Yeah, up, and then unmute yourself in Discord now.
This is crazy. All right, let me see.
Come on, man. Yeah, you're in the Discord, the free live stream. Just unmute yourself there, and then that's all we need, because they don't hear you. So.
Mm-hmm.
You look happy, man. You look happy. You're happy about CrowdStrike, huh?
Of course. Right on.
What the fuck?
I see that you're in the actual free live stream. All you have to do is unmute yourself there, and then you're good to go. Everyone can hear you on socials, and then everyone can hear you in there too.
All right, can you hear me now? Sorry, I couldn't find it. Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good. What's
good.
up, everyone? Yeah, what a print CrowdStrike was. So if you guys don't know me, my name's Stock Savvy Shy. On Twitter, you can see my growth portfolio. Hit 87% return last year, and entering this year, CrowdStrike was my number one position, still is at 16%. So obviously, this print is freaking huge for me, and I think it's absolutely amazing that they had this kind of strong print after all of the Palo Alto, ticker PANW noise from 2 weeks ago, and
Yes.
also Zscaler last week. So I've been saying this for a while, where I think my thesis on CrowdStrike is they're going to be eventually the number one, like the go-to all-in-one cybersecurity platform sometime next decade. And you're clearly seeing that with this print after the other two tier one cybersecurity names with Zscaler and Palo Alto showing weakness in billing, not guiding up as much, and there's a lot of noise within the revenue and EPS. CrowdStrike again, flawless, an absolute unicorn. And they're one of one stocks, in my opinion, where they have the combination of that top line growth of 30% while also maintaining an absurd 34% free cash flow margin. Like if you guys saw their print, they're reporting 34% free cash flow margins. That's like unheard of combining with 30% in a non-cyclical business. And the reason I say non-cyclical is because everyone knows like Nvidia is just absolutely demolished, like they're destroying all fundamentals. But like CrowdStrike isn't in the same business as Nvidia, where it's very highly cyclical. This is more on licensing; it's very predictive, and you're clearly seeing them just consistently outperform. And I made a statement on. I was on Spaces last week where I was like, Palo Alto's weakness could be CrowdStrike's strength, where Palo Alto, like they had to give out some free products in order to incentivize some clients to use their platform approach. Where obviously CrowdStrike doesn't need to do that because everything's organic with them and they're cloud native. And Palo Alto went a different route where they kind of grew via acquisition in a similar fashion that Salesforce does, and they did it an amazing way. However, they're obviously seeing like how difficult it could be to continue that kind of path and not have the organic growth like the CrowdStrike does. And I think this print validates my initial thesis that I do think CrowdStrike's starting to eat some of Palo Alto's business. And I do think they're separating themselves. Like entering this quarter, I said there was 3 tier one cybersecurity names. The rest is just absolute noise, and there's gonna be massive consolidation to smaller names just because when you see Palo Alto like giving away free products, like with the margins they have, which is like 35% free cash flow margins, the Sentinel ones or like the even small like the CyberArks, the smaller players, they have no chance. There's no chance, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be consolidation in the industry. So I do think
You
that
think there's room for a couple of those big boys in that industry, like to be the top two, and which ones would you like if there was two? Of course, CrowdStrike is one, but which one would the other one be that you would like?
yeah, so I think there's 2 tier 2 names now. It's Zscaler and Palo Alto. And the reason I say I don't want to compare them against one another, but just because Palo Alto is going through some like my contacts in the cybersecurity space, they're saying that Palo Alto isn't losing any of their legacy clients. They're losing their newer clients, and their legacy clients will not leave their platform. So Palo Alto will always be a cash machine in a similar fashion that Adobe is always going to be a cash machine, where they're going to be consistently printing mid 30% free cash flow margins and probably growing the top line a healthy amount, but not exciting enough. But they're still going to be a force. So I do think it goes by CrowdStrike is tier one. Tier two is Zscaler and Palo Alto. Honestly, tier three is Sentinel One. The rest is going to be consolidation. They have no chance, in my opinion. And another facet I do want to call out is what was I going to say? Oh, regarding charge points, I know you mentioned it. I want to give some
Yeah.
color on that. I do think
Yeah,
that
go.
Tesla's initiative last year of like creating the unified electrical charging for all the competitors I think it diminished ChargePoint's like any kind of competitive advantage they had. So me like the reason I say that is because what's the incentive to use ChargePoint over Tesla when Tesla's everywhere? It's a bigger company and they can like actually meet your needs. Where ChargePoint, I think, had some
Faster
interesting part.
charging, probably too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like ChargePoint, in my opinion, is not a real business anymore because of what Tesla did. Tesla just destroyed them. And it's not like a type of product or IP where like there could be a duopoly because Tesla is a freaking monster of a company that they can just always gain more space or like where ChargePoint like they're small and like they don't have the luxury of being able to pivot as much as Tesla
Well, I
can.
mean, you also see Tesla, like when there's like new competition in the EV sector, what did Tesla do? All they did is lower their prices because they can lower their prices because it's not really affecting them as much short term, just to like get all those EV companies kind of just take them all out and just take that market cap, take it back, take that market share back. And then once that happens, they're just going to raise their prices back
Well,
again.
you
I mean, he's a genius. This guy is,
well, you brought up a great point because first off, Elon is playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. He's an absolute visionary genius. Like, if you think you're being smarter than what Elon's doing, you're a schmuck, absolute schmuck. Um, so Tesla, in my opinion, like I own Tesla. It's a top 5 position for me. It's a software play for me. If FSD doesn't work for them, I'm cutting them. They have a huge monopoly in the EV space and cars and like their energy business, huge monopoly. But the current valuation right now is because they're being treated as a tech company, specifically for the FSD software technology. So if they open if more people have their cars and they care less about profiting off the EVs by lowering their prices, and it's going to hurt their margins in the near term. But the 4D vision for Elon and the company is we want as many people to use the car as possible for when FSD software is available. We can like blast it out and everyone's going to be using it. And it's one of those high margin businesses that's going to be so cash effective for their like fundamentals. Like they could care less if they lose a couple $1,000s per EV because the long term vision is purely the FSD software, and they just want to have enough cars out there for them to actually really squeeze that cash that they're going to do for the
I mean,
FSD.
they're not just an EV company, are they? They're a technology company. They do a lot of things. So just thinking about like Rivian, you think about like even Ford. They were like barely, well, they were red. Like I believe that Rivian, it was costing them 40,000 in the hole for every car that they sold. So they're trying to get up to like zero, right? They're already negative. And then you got Tesla coming in, cutting the prices. And then there's no chance for Rivian. There's no chance for
Yeah.
them to make up that 40K that they're losing per car because someone's going to buy a Tesla that has more. Like it's obviously there's more years in a Tesla, right? There's more versions of the Tesla. There's not so many problems. It's not a new EV. So, of course, they're going to go to a Tesla over buying an $80,000 Rivian.
No, you're absolutely right. And I also made this comment
Or
last week.
Lucid.
Like Apple shutting their car doesn't mean they're not going to be going to create an Apple car in the future. I think they're behind in the AI race clearly, and now they're seeing, wow, this AI thematic is actually real, and we're seeing some true ROI on it. That we have to put all our eggs in that basket to figure out how we're going to utilize AI. That combined with like, wow, the EV space is truly bleeding right now. What's the incentive of us creating a brand new product that's going to be worth $100,000 when obviously we're seeing like all the EV, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, they're NIO, like even the Chinese EV companies, like they're all struggling. Consumers are not buying cars right now. They're worrying about paying the next rent check. So why would we put some kind of innovation in that kind of product that requires a high capex, low margin right now when I think down the line in a couple years when they can buy it for pennies on the dollar, like Apple can acquire Rivian in 2 or 3 years for like less than 10 billion. And reason I say maybe is because they've only made one large purchase, which is Beats by Dre. They never ever make large purchases, but I do think that could change potentially down the line when they have to give up so much capex and creating their own product. Why not just acquire it? And Lucid is going under, in my opinion, privately.
Yeah, I
The
agree, bro.
Saudis, the Saudis will
The
take them
Saudis can invest so much more money into it, but they're just going to burn that cash. Like
100%.
it's such
It's
a
not a real
stupid
player.
investment. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Absolutely, it's a stupid player. But I mean, yeah. So I can make some more commentary now that we're talking. Like, there wasn't that many earnings today, so I guess we can
No.
talk more about some macro. I mean, it was kind of a shit show today in the growth world. Right at the open, you saw like constant selling, and not just like in all names, even in some of like the high beta names, it's all of the names. Like you saw CrowdStrike go down 7% within the first hour. You never see that. You saw Microsoft do the same fashion, not that level, but like they were bleeding right out the gate. And Zscaler, Palo Alto, like you clearly saw cybersecurity being sold off in the first 30 minutes to an hour. And that continued with Cloudflare too, ticker NET. Super shocking. And it just shows a testament of like what's carrying this market a little is Nvidia. Nvidia and AMD is showing so much strength today. And that's clearly been the trend last year. It's continuing this year. And today's sell-off, like AMD and Nvidia finished green today. And SMCI, which is
I
just a
saw that. Yeah.
vehicle to capitalize on the data center revenues, like they
Yeah.
finished green today
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
clearly today was nothing character breaking in the market. It's clearly just profit taking and certain thematics or elements in the risk on beta trade. But the big dogs are the best, the names who've been carrying the market. They're acting like business as usual. So the
Yeah,
one thing I do
absolutely,
want to,
bro.
yeah, I mean, if you want to see a character changing move in the market, is the day tomorrow for one, just because the last three red days, there's been a lot of purchasing towards the end of the day, and the following day, gap up on green. It was like the market shrugged off that one red day. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's a big, I think, a pal speaking tomorrow, and also
Yes, he
on
is. Yeah.
Thursday. So that could
10
be
a.m. He testifies tomorrow at 10 a.m.
yeah. So that could be a catalyst. I know the big jobs data is on Friday. That could be another catalyst, but I think today it was just market mechanics where there's some profit taking. It just went a little lower. A lot of these stocks that went down 6 to 7%, they're at the same point they were at the beginning of last week. Like it's a nothing burger in my opinion. But keep in mind, like if you have a couple days in a row like this, that's a completely different like scenario than what it's been the past couple months on red days, and that's what you should watch out for. But when
Well, you're
Nvidia,
right. You're right. Nvidia and like SMCI, like especially when it got put in the S&P this week as well, or last week on Friday or Monday. I mean, it's got a boost, right? And people are buying into it more. SMCI, so we're getting swings, bro. Like $160 swing from low of day up to pretty much after hours high of 11:30. So we went from 976 low up to 11:30. Like this is a penny stock movement kind of play, you know?
it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And like I do want to flag everyone, like SMCI, I did call out. I was like that. I was part of my portfolio, and I started in a position in the early 200s. It's a completely
Did
different
you?
ball game. Yeah, I did, but I
Well,
sold it
come on,
at
hit me
six.
up next time when you do that, man. Give me a call. Let me
Well,
know.
it's, I said it's. I still think so, but it's stupid valuation right now. But it's a picks and
It
shovel
is.
play on the data center revenue. That's what it is, and it should be treated as that. And right now is a higher multiple and valuation than Nvidia, which is absolutely absurd. Never ever should there be a scenario where there's a pick and shovel play being worth more than the king of that specific thematic, and that's what's happening right now. So you're clearly seeing Momo trading. Uh, S&P was another catalyst for it, but I would never touch it around 1,000. I have a huge rule, investment rule for me, that anything that's like below 20% gross margins, I don't touch. Those are very hard like business models to scale and for shareholders to return money. And at the current valuation, I do think it's a lot of investors are gonna be losing money in a year or two. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. And at $60 billion, I wouldn't touch it. And it's a name that's just a vehicle for trading, just like how Bitcoin miners, like if you're bullish on cryptos can go up, you invest in altcoins and miners because you want to get the most bang for your buck. That's what SMCI is being treated as for the crypto industry. And it's not coming from a hater because I found SMCI and I liked it. Like a year ago, but valuation doesn't make sense then now, and I'm cutting it. Yes, I lost out on 30% of a move, but this doesn't make sense. However, also AMD doesn't make sense that it's green today after the China news. Like that's going to create some kind of headwinds on their revenue in
What happened
2024.
there? That they didn't get approved for the China chip that they were making, or something like that. I
Yeah,
read,
so
right?
it's too powerful of an AI chip, and
That's right.
they need to readjust whatever configurations they made because it's just too powerful. And maybe they have to start from scratch, or maybe they had a plan B. Who knows? But either way, there has to be some kind of added risk to his name, and it should not be finishing green. So this is another example of like, oh, this feels very frothy, this environment, like certain things that aren't making sense, and we didn't see much of it today, like SMCI's move. It's a
Yeah,
$60 billion company, but it's moving like a penny stock. And Bitcoin, it hit an all-time high at 67,000. It went down $10,000 within like an hour or two. So these kind of behaviors make me feel like we might be near a top, but just in the near term, in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna. Maybe we'll get some kind of correction, which is absolutely healthy. But I do think the way the market's moving, specifically within some names and some industries, like I said, the Bitcoin, like the way it's moving, like it does feel very toppy, and there might need to be some like down days. Don't know if you discussed it that much,
exactly.
but
No,
also,
no, I agree with you. Like what I've read, and I talked to people as well, like really good, traders out there, and they've seen like a pattern where it's like, okay, when things kind of take off, they invest in like the miners, and then after the miners, then it's Bitcoin that goes higher. Then when Bitcoin reaches the peak, then everything kind of drops, and that's kind of what we're seeing. I think that maybe Bitcoin, we actually hit 69,000 and change. It was actually a new all-time high for Bitcoin today, if you didn't check recently. But we hit that all-time high, then we dropped off 10,000, right? We dropped off instantly once we got that all-time high, and then the market was just bleeding all day long.
mhm.
So I think this could, I mean, I'm not saying it is, but it could be a start of some pullback that everyone's expecting. If you look at that seasonality chart for SPY for the last 20 years, March is not a very good month for SPY. So we may get that pullback that we're used to in the 20-year history that we've seen of SPY in March. So we may get that pullback, but that's also going to be like buy the dip pullback. And then April, May, we're going to see it start reversing back up again. That's how it's been for the past 20 years for SPY. So maybe we get something like that.
I mean, I absolutely agree with you, and I do think you have to be very specific of what you own, because if there is going to be a
Yeah.
dip, it's not going to be in names being bought like ChargePoint or Upstart. It's not going to be those shitcos. It's going to be names that a lot of hedge funds, like there's trillions of dollars on the sidelines right now because they're trying to get that risk-free 5 to 6% last year, which just totally makes sense with how much money they're handling. But they really missed out on like this AI thematic, and
Yeah.
they knew AI was like real, it was happening. They didn't anticipate it happening so quickly at the present moments. And because of that, they are underexposed, and they're kind of looking like schmucks that these average retailers were like going hard in these names, but they're sitting on the sideline to get that 5% when they miss massive moves in like this CrowdStrikes and Nvidia. So I do think
Yeah.
that the dip will be bought, but it's going to be in very specific names like the Nvidias, the AMDs, like the CrowdStrikes. Like you're going to see the hardware and cybersecurity names being bought up, the first ones. They will be the first ones getting bought up in any kind of dip. Then I think we'll go towards like the cloud names who have that consumption based model, like the Snowflakes and the MongoDBs, the Datadogs. But I don't think it's going to go
Datadog,
towards the
yeah.
companies like the Twilios or like the fintech companies. Like I think they're going to be very specific on their entries on which thematics they want to be in, and not try to deal with the headaches of the fintech names. Because I say the fintech industry as a whole because it's a thin margin, highly competitive industry that doesn't really necessarily have a moat and a long-term moat. So they're always going to be fighting each other like siblings and just eating each other's pie. But there's a certain amount of pie that's to go around based from consumers in fintech. And also like ChargePoints, like you have to like factor in the growth. Like if they're negative, not negative growth, but like low, they might be negative growth actually. I have no idea. Let me see. But like you have, if to not have like 10 to 15% free cash flow margins, you need to be growing the top line like significant amounts. And if you're not, you're gonna get
What do you
punished.
think about the bottom line for CrowdStrike? I think I saw there were negative net income, right?
Yeah, on a gap basis. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
I do think I keep seeing on Twitter that let me pull it out. Oh, I don't have connection. Let me
Also,
connect my
your
VPN.
your CrowdStrike hitting new highs right there at 363.
Yeah, so I made right before this call, I was on the Spaces. I said like, CrowdStrike has like the hat trick. Fundamentally, they're a unicorn. 30% top line growth, 35% free cash flow margin, Rule of 40 score of 65. On a chart, they're absolutely bullish. They're clearly breaking out and it's continuing. And then the third is just like they're what was the thing? Oh, they're clearly eating on the business function, like Palo Alto's like business, and they're accelerating. They're not experiencing the CrowdStrike cybersecurity fatigue that all the bears were saying after Zscaler and Palo Alto's print. So, uh, CrowdStrike, I think it's gonna go to $500 potentially. I do think an S&P inclusion is gonna be on the radar, and I think it's gonna be the name that's gonna be scooped up for immediately. Where I wouldn't like in this market, like just be very specific. Like don't the cheap can always get cheaper. That's what I always say. Like the PayPal's are super risky. The Twilies are super risky. So I don't know. I also, having said that, I don't think CrowdStrike belongs to be this high. Like what's up 20% off their prints. That's excessive in my opinion, but I'll take it. Um, Anything else? MongoDB is reporting earnings this week, so that's a name that I think should be on everyone's radar because that's the MongoDB and Cloudflare is the two most expensive stocks I own. Not just comping with the regular stock, it's comping against other growth stocks. So if you see MongoDB having anything that's not perfect, they're gonna go towards the low 300s, in my opinion. Similar fashion where you saw GitLab just went down 20% off like a really strong quarter. The guide wasn't what they hoped for. And we're seeing it across the board in like Snowflake. Like Snowflake had a great quarter. They just have a new CEO, and it's like so normal to have a kitchen sink type of quarter when you have a new CEO come on. It's an absolute rule of thumb, like what you do in corporate strategy. And you saw Snowflake just get obliterated on a very bad guide of a 6% miss and new CEO, which caught everyone off guard. So a lot of noise, but like MongoDB is very expensive, like very, very expensive. They either need to like really be on the bottom line or the top line because the combination they have right now does not even get close to what it's worth, especially because Snowflake, in my opinion, is the perfect comp for MongoDB. And right now, there's like a 60% disconnect on valuation. So if MongoDB shows any lightness, this is a name that can really gap down. And I'm gonna be beefing up the position under $300. But again, you saw it today, like it's down 8 to 9%. It was one of the biggest lose amount growth tech. And it's well deserved because people are profit taking have their print because they're worried it's gonna go down 25% potentially.
Yeah, I let me get that up here. I gotta jump off of here in a second, bro. It's up to you
Yeah,
if you want to stay,
no,
but I
I
have
gotta
to
jump
jump
off too.
off. But I want to look at that ticker. It's what is it? MDB. Let me see that.
MDB.
MDB. Okay, so we're all kind of moving on that hype of CrowdStrike, pretty much. Yeah, I was looking at the forward PE and everything. It's kind of over, over like 100, I think, on the forward PE. So maybe everything's overinflated for this company. And you're right, maybe there is a dip buy in here. Have a look. Yeah, so pretty much this is the trend line that I'd be kind of watching. When is their earnings this week, you said?
Thursday, I think, or the 8th. It's a big one. They've had, if you guys look at the last two quarterly earnings report, they've had massive beats and massive gap ups. Similar fashion as Nvidia, like they just absolutely obliterated their revenue and EPS guide. Uh, let's see if they can do the hat trick 3 in a row. But my money is I don't think they will. And if that's the case, this is going to gap down hard.
Let's have a look. The last earnings, they gapped down. We probably retraced, like it gapped down with earnings, but retraced probably about 75% of that after like over a week of that gapping down, then it reversed. Before that, it was kind of flat before that too. Then we had a big gap up here in June of 2023. Yeah, man. I mean, this is interesting too. And I put this trend line on from pretty much the beginning of 2023, and it's been holding this trend line all the way up. So I wonder if that also kind of coincides with this MA 200 also in purple. So I don't know. Yeah, like it's gonna be a tough call when it comes Thursday, which direction it's gonna go, because it's gonna fake some people out thinking maybe it bounces right on this trend line and pushes up, but then we could just drop right off, So, bro, I'd be interested to buy this maybe in the low 300s, maybe down here around the 320 would be beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
320.
long-term winner for me. It just needs to catch a break, as clearly you see in the chart, just exploding.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, I'm gonna jump off here. It's good to have you on, bro, and I'm glad that you came along for CrowdStrike. We were waiting for you.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, it's cool. You gotta get the hang of it. So that's cool. And yeah, I see you guys tomorrow in the Discord. It was fun, and yeah, let's see kind of what CrowdStrike gives us tomorrow. Maybe more of an explosion.
Yeah, sounds good, everyone. See ya.
All right, see you guys.